Hey there, welcome back to Richard's Toy Room, brought to you by Migos and More. We'll dispense with the usual theme songs that I try to put at the beginning that tie into what the video is about sometimes, and we'll just get right to the case at hand. So today, from an idea from a friend and viewer, I thought I would pull out a random stack of comic books from the 50s through the 80s and show you some of the interesting advertisements that appeared in these vintage comics. So without further ado, I've marked them off so to make it easier to get to them. We start off with Bionic Woman number 2. I believe this is from 1978. And who doesn't remember this company that would sell you all these little gag gifts, like sneezing powder and the X-ray specs and the exploding fountain pen, and most of the stuff was just kind of crap, but every once in a while you get a good gimmick out of a few of them. I don't think I actually ever ordered any of this stuff, but I do know some schoolmates that brought in, like, for example, the X-ray specs. But those were around for decades. I don't know why they would have an ad to join some coven or cult, the magic power of witchcraft, trying to get kids to be Satanists or something, I guess. I don't know. Seemed like an odd advertisement for a comic book, although I've seen many similar ones. Who doesn't remember the toy soldiers in the Foot Locker? Now this one I do have personal experience with. My best friend when I was a kid, his mother ordered this for him. I mean, who didn't always want it? They had a whole bunch of different ones. They had like Roman soldiers. They had like naval ones. They had Civil War, and I think there was like Wild West. Pretty much almost any combat type scenario you can think of, they sold a set of these, and I'm assuming they were probably all of the same construction. Now you think you're getting the little green army men, and I guess technically, if you want to use definitions, they are little green army men. The problem is they're not the little green army men you think they are. What they are, they're on little stands, but they're two-dimensional. I mean, three-dimensional in the fact that they exist in the real world, but they're flat. If you were to look at them this way, where you can see, like, pick one out here, so a good example, like this guy holding a bazooka, and you were to turn him so that, you weren't looking at him from this angle, but not turn 90 degrees, it'd be like looking at a toothpick. And this was made of cardboard, this Foot Locker, and it was probably about that big. So it was pretty much a ripoff. Very disappointing. And I guess who wants to get powerful muscles fast? This is the 70s version of one that's probably been around since comics were printed. I guess it comes with these little bikini shorts you can wear to look really hot after you get your big buff body from this book. Yeah, right. Yeah, see, here's another one on the back. Super bodybuilding course. You can look just like this hunk. You can go from this skinny guy to Mr. Muscles, or from Tub of Lard to Mr. Muscles, and you'll feel like dynamite. Sure you will. Next up, you've got a Casper comic. 15 cents. This is probably from around 1970. Let's see. It is from, where's the date? 1969. So that's what we're looking at today. 1969 ads. Here's a neat one. Here's the 1969, I think this is NBC. Yeah, NBC's Saturday morning cartoon lineup. Unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember most of these. Maybe not exactly from 1969, but not too long after that. I do remember watching Puffin Stuff on Saturday mornings and the Banana Splits, Pink Panther. Here's the Flintstones. That were obviously reruns at that point. But yeah, a lot of good memories there. I don't think there was any more in this book. No. Next up, this is also from '78, another Charlton book, Space War. How could I not have a Sea Monkeys ad in this video? And this is just one of many different versions that they put out during the lifetime. I think they still sell these things, maybe not in comic books anymore, but I'm pretty sure you can still buy them. I always thought they were going to look like these little pink creatures, but they're basically bugs. So, and here's one of the other ones I was talking about. You get the tank trap or the naval battle one here, same as those army men. I'm sure they're probably of the same crappy quality. And we'll jump up to, let's see, it's a 25-cent Little Lotta. That's probably around 74 maybe. 75. What did I pick here? Oh, now here's an interesting one. You probably, if you're familiar with the comic books from the era, Twinkies did a lot of ads that were specific to the publishers that the ads appeared in. For example, here's one with Wendy the Witch, and since it's Harvey Comics, that's why they chose a Harvey character to be in it. I don't know exactly how many there were, but I know there was a website I found a few years back that showed all the superhero ones from DC and Marvel. And I know there was Archie ones, and off the top of my head, I can't recall. I know there was a couple of other oddball ones too that are not as common, but that's a blast from the past right there. Here's a gold key. Now most of these, especially before these, or before this year, did not have any ads except on the front covers, or front and rear covers. Sometimes not even any at all when they were Dell Comics, which turned into Gold Key in the early 60s. This is from 66. But so you wouldn't see me showing too many Dell Comics because they usually don't have ads. But I picked this one. It's got basically these two. This one's Olympic sales, and this one's the one where you're supposed to sell Christmas cards. There was also ones where you had to sell like seeds and stuff like that. I always wanted to do this because it was like, oh, look at these cool prizes you can get. You can win a bike, and well, let's see, what do you got? How many boxes do you have to sell to win a bike? 30 boxes to win a bike. 18 boxes to win a transistor phonograph. So that they'd send you this stuff and you'd have to pay them back whether you sold them or not, as far as I was always led to believe. That's why my parents would never let me order them. And same thing with these cards. So it was kind of like they got paid either way. So, and of course, nobody wants to buy stuff from somebody come knocking on their door. Of course, it was a different world back in the 70s and before that. I mean, that was the era of the door-to-door salesman. I mean, now I wouldn't even open the door if somebody knocked on it. I didn't know who they were. It's just a different world now. Plus, once you sold these to your aunt, uncle, and your parents and grandparents, you're pretty much stuck with the rest of them anyway. And here's another one of the army guys. And here we go back to, this is from the 60s. Let's see, what year is this from? This is from 1962. I picked a few out of this one, Mutt and Jeff. I used to love Mutt and Jeff when I was a kid in the comic strip in the newspaper. This is pretty much just like it. I picked this one because It jumped out at me when I was leafing through. I always loved looking at these company house ads for the current books and looking and going, oh, I've got that one. Oh, I've got that one. Oh, I want to get that one. You know, that one looks like it's funny, and that one looks pretty good. And it was always something to do when you were looking at them to kind of like make a mental list. And then this one I picked because it's basically, if you remember the, what the heck was the name of it? The Give a Show projector from Kenner. I think it's a very similar thing to that. It's a little television. You get these little film strips, rolls of film strips that you probably wind through it. And I'm sure it probably has a light in there or something. Although for $1, it probably doesn't. You probably have to hold it up like a Viewmaster to a light source. But kind of a neat little thing. I've never actually seen one in person. I also, when I was leafing through, I didn't bookmark it, but there was a Zorro one in one of these books too. That was, if I find it while I'm leafing through, because it's still in one of the books in the pile over there, I'll show you. It's basically the same thing. It's just different strips and different labeling. And then here's something I've never seen before or never heard of. It's Casper's Magic Bubble Bath. It looks like it's little packets that dissolve in water. You just throw the whole bag in the underneath the faucet in the tub, and it turns into like Mr. Bubble. It's kind of like Casper Mr. Bubble. Wonder how long that lasted. Never heard of it. Almost makes me want to look on eBay, but I got enough crap. Didn't really pick this one, but since I already showed it to you, here's the Amazing Chest-A-Bank. Put in a coin, close a drawer, it's gone. Not sure how that worked. And then these look like balloons. They stand from 15 inches to almost 3 feet tall. Look like they're all Disney ones in this ad. Here's another Charlton comic, 12 center. I believe this is from 60. What year was it? 60. Can't find it. Oh, 63. This is from 1963. I picked a few out of this one. Oh, this one made me laugh. Not the miniature oil well, although I don't understand why you would even want that. But, you know, kids in the 60s, they were entertained by a lot less than kids today. This one here, The Record Riot, 102 smash hits for only $3.49, less than 4 cents per song. Well, what they didn't tell you was they're not by the original artists. This is the Hit Records, which actually were pretty good quality. I have some of these 45s. They usually had like 2 to 4 songs on each record. So they were basically extended play 45s. And they a lot of times the names of the artist were, I bet you they were probably faked, so they looked similar. Like if they covered one of Connie Francis's songs, it might have been like Connie Parker or something, and but they were kind of sound-alikes. So they tried to mimic, almost like karaoke, I guess you would say. Sometimes they were good, sometimes they weren't. But the quality of the records were actually pretty good. They do have a good fidelity. I've run across quite a few of them because I collect records as well. But it's just funny that they put this ad in to make you think you're getting 100 records here, and they're knockoffs is what they are. This made me laugh too. I'm sure this car, I've never actually experienced these, but based on other things that I've seen, like the Army Men, I'm sure these cars are probably like this big and come in another cardboard box. Probably very, very primitive, like a, what do you call it? Injection molded one piece, I'm sure, one color, and maybe with like little snap-on wheels on the bottom. Probably very, very cheap plastic little cars. But this luggage set made me laugh. It's a complete 4-piece matched set of luggage at only $2.98. And if you don't read the fine print, the biggest one is 12 inches across, which is roughly what you're looking at here when I hold this comic open. So there's your luggage. How much are you going to put in there? The smallest one here is 8 inches. So, I mean, that's like turning the comic. Well, it's even smaller than turning the comic this way. But it just made me laugh. The things they try to get away with in these ads, they couldn't get away with it today. Here's one, Knights, just like the Army Men, comes in the cardboard case. Here's one we jump into 1984. This is the newest of the ones that I pulled out here. You may remember this was part of the video I just did on this Superboy series, and that was what actually gave me the idea to do this video. But by the 80s here, and even in later ones, you're basically looking at video game and music ads for the most part. A lot of the other ones almost have disappeared. Still trying to push Grit. I don't know anybody that sold Grit. I think I actually maybe saw the paper once. I think my grandmother might have ordered it. Probably felt guilty from some kid coming door to door when, back in the late 60s, early 70s. But I don't even think this thing's still in business anymore. But they've updated it to look like 80s kids having fun selling newspapers. And what else did I pull up? Oh, here's a cool one. The Kmart ad. Kmart. For the Remco Warlord line. Warlord was a DC comic book running concurrently as the Superboy one. It ran for like 133 issues from roughly the late 70s to around 85, 86, somewhere around there. And they had some other Fantasyland characters like Hercules, who wasn't in the Warlord book, and this Arak, or I'm not sure how that's pronounced. He was like a Native American Indian from, I think the series was set in the 1700s, but it might have been before that. I forget. It's been a while since I've read it. But they were basically a He-Man body ripoff on these guys. I kind of always wanted the Warlord, but I really never liked the body that they made these figures on. I would have liked them a lot better if they would have done them on a Amigo body or even a 12-inch G.I. Joe body. But they were still kind of cool. See, another video game ad in television. We got two more. Here's a Little Sad Sack, 12 center. I believe this is from 65. Yeah, 65. So what did I choose in here? Okay, here we go. Here's a similar one to that other set that I showed you. This is the True View. Now, this is a little different because it's not a roll of film. They're like strips on, or like rigid strips that you can see right here where it kind of goes through. You turn the dial, and I mean rigid in the sense that they're not just a piece of what do you call it, celluloid, like the film is what the other one was just basically like bare film that you would hook in. It probably had the little squares on the side, the notches for the gears to catch, whereas this is, in a cardboard, or maybe they were plastic. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen these. I'm guessing they're probably cardboard. A thinner frame on them that would gently bend as they went through this machine, and you project it onto the wall. And there was a lot of different ones. This was Viewmaster's competition for the Kenner Give a Show projector, or perhaps it was the other way around. I don't know which one came first. Again, here's another one of those ads for all the concurrently available issues of all the other titles that were on the newsstands. Here's a very early ad for Lucky Charms. I believe Lucky Charms either started this year or perhaps it was a year old at this point. But it says new, so I'm not 100% sure. Also on here is some Casper toys. I actually have this talking Casper. It's a pull string doll toy, whatever you want to call it, like stuffed animal sort, but it's got a plastic head and a pull string on the back of its neck that talks. And that will actually be a video that I will be doing eventually at one point. I'm restoring it. And it's kind of been on the back burner, so I haven't got back to putting it back together yet. So it'll be a while, but eventually when I do get it done, it will be a video. This one was neat. I had to show you this one. Now this is something that I kind of always wanted. It's a jet rocket spaceship over 6 feet long with control levers that work. Well, you know that it was basically a bunch of cardboard. It probably lasted about, half an hour until you busted it. But I'm sure if I was a kid, I would have that half an hour would have been the best half an hour of my life up to that time. You can also get a Daisy BB gun. Oh, heaven forbid, you'll shoot your eye out. Last one for this video. 1959, Felix the Cat. I picked a few out of here. I think this is the one that has the Zorro one in it that I didn't tag. So let me see if I can find it here for you before I pull the other one up. No, guess not. It must be in the back part. This one has a ad for AMF Roadmaster bicycles. Assuming a competition to Schwinn. Pretty cool, like kind of a Schwinn cruiser look there. Oh, here's the Zorro one right here. See, it's basically the same thing, except it just says television instead of Harvey Hits or whatever it said on the other one, and you get a bunch of Zorro film strips or films or however they are, rolls of film. Hot Stuff had just appeared at this time. And here's an ad for starting Sunday, October 11th, 1959, Harvey's Cartoons. Those are some good cartoons. I don't know if anybody remembers those. Oh, you can learn to play the harmonica too. That's basically all I picked out on here. You can also buy this giant flying plastic jet for $1. It will fly at 600 scale miles an hour until you crash it into the ground 5 minutes after you play with it, and it's broken and you can throw it in the garbage. So anyway, I thought that would be fun to share. If you enjoyed that, I'll do some more. Thanks for joining me. Keep an eye out for my new videos. I don't have a regular schedule on them. I just kind of do them as I have time, as I feel like doing them, as I think of things to do them on. So sometimes they come out closer together. Sometimes it might be, a couple weeks between videos here and there. But I'm going to be doing as many as I can think of until I run out of stuff or run out of time or whatever. So once again, thanks for joining. Hope to see you again. Have a good day.